makers, I'm Helena and I'm here to talk to you about some new Butterick sewing patterns. So the first new pattern to mention is 6779. This pattern is two patterns in one, really. You could make the dress version or you could make the jumpsuit version. So it goes from size 6 to 24. It also gives the option with the sash, so you're going to need fabric for that as well. So it looks like it's got two sleeve variations, so that's great when you always got multiples in a pattern. So you've got the one with the puff at the end of the sleeve, and then you've got the shorter, more closer to the elbow length. For a pattern like this, if you look behind, they do give you recommendations for fabric. So they're saying crepe, rayon, crepe back satin. So for me, what that says is you want something light, you want something drapey, so not too heavy, not too stiff. The next pattern is 6797. So this pattern is definitely great for if you're not too experienced with sewing and you just want to dive in a little bit. So it's some shirt patterns, not t-shirt but shirt, so it is probably even easier if you're a beginner, because when you're a beginner you don't really want to jump straight into jersey. It does say you can use it for stable knits, so that's things that are a bit more heavier, a bit more like the cotton or the ponte, something that doesn't have a lot of stretch. Definitely avoid the rayon jerseys, but I would probably err on the woven side. So what's also great about this is you've got different variations, A, B, C, D and E, so you've got different lengths, you've got ones without sleeves and you've got ones with long sleeves. The size range for that one goes from the extra small to the extra large. The next Butterick pattern is 6781. So this one is a dress pattern and it comes from the sizes 18 to up to 32. So that's a really great size range. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult to find stuff in a bigger size range in patterns, so that's great. So this pattern's designed for knit fabric. As you can see, if you turn it around, and I'll pop it up now, if you look at the back of the packet, you can see what it says for fabric suggestions. It's saying 35% stretch across the grain. If you look in the back of the packets as well, if you're new to sewing, often these companies like Butterick will have a stretch measurement chart. You can see on the blue label. So if you get a sample piece and then you stretch it to the side, you'll see if it's suitable. So it looks like there's two versions. One that has a wrap across at the front top with a buckle tie. And then if you look at the bottom one, the second one, it also does look like, if you look closely, sometimes it can be difficult to see, but it's got two pleats as well, if you can look at the technical sketch, which I'll have up now. It also has two lengths for the arms, so one was full length and one was the shorter length. So you could really customize this yourself, whether you want the longer or the shorter sleeves. You can really make it anything. This could be a potential for something that would be smart casual, or even just slightly more dressed up, depending on what fabric you use. But because you're using a knit fabric, it will actually be comfortable. So that's something to consider if you have an event or something to go to, but you would like to remain comfortable. The next one is Butterick 6783. So this is in their extended size range as well. It is from 18 to 32. So this is, again, would be something great for an event, perhaps even a wedding to attend to. It's got two different versions. So the first version's got the V-neck with the shorter sleeves. It has some seam lines at the back and some darts. It also looks like it's got the side pleats. The second version below, which is longer, it still has the shorter sleeves, but the front does not have a V-neck, it's a scoop neck. You can see in the version that they've made up, they've used a little bit of a lace overlay on top of the dress. So that could be really interesting. There's so many different things you could match. So you could have a different kind of lacy sheer fabric underneath the bottom panel in a different color. You could play with different sort of textures of fabric, ones that are shiny and ones more matte. really up to you. And it's great that they give you both a curved scoop neckline and then they also give you a V neckline. So the next pattern to show you is 6784. So this is actually quite an interesting pattern. I think this is actually quite interesting because you have the potential to do some color blocking. If you look at the image, what they've done, they've used stripes, which I thought was quite interesting because they mixed the way that the stripes are because of the way that the panels are cut. But yeah, that could be very interesting. You could do some really sort of more muted greys, blacks, whites, or you could go really bright and do something really intense, which I think would be very interesting. So it looks like it's got two options for the sleeves. So you've got no sleeves and then you've got long sleeves. It's quite interesting placement, just a little bit of a collar on the edges there. You could even change that color to match one of the panels. So this one comes from the extra small to the XXL. So the fabrics that they're recommending is linen, broadcloth, cotton blends, stable knits. So to me that says something that's, you know, lightweight enough but not too, doesn't have a stretch. It really depends on what you want it to look like. If you did use a heavier fabric, it is gonna look very boxy. It is gonna look very square-like. If you use sort of a lighter weight like a cotton, just a cotton broadcloth or even a linen, I think this would look beautiful in a linen. Like I said, with the collar blocking with one bright blue or maybe not bright blue and red, you might get a bit Union Jack vibes with that, but perhaps more with something like a light blue, a dark blue, color blocking. Can you imagine that in a linen? That would be amazing, and you wouldn't have to use all of the same linen, and you could take the opportunity, perhaps maybe you have some fabrics left over and you don't have quite enough to make a dress, this whole dress in one fabric, but then you can mix and match and use some of the other fabrics. So the next one is 6788, which is obviously a Butterick pattern. So this one is a top, as you can see here, but it's got a very interesting pleat detail, or is that pintucks in a diagonal? No, that looks more like a pleat, or an inverted pleat. So there's one sleeve and it has it ends before the wrist, and then the next one it has like a little bit of a bell at the end, or a flute, which I personally like. I like a bit of a bell flute flounce going on. So this one comes in the sizes extra small to the extra large. This one again is a jersey or a stretch knit fabric pattern, and again, like I said, you can look at on the back of the pattern, you can see the stretch chart. I wouldn't say this is beginner. I would say more of a bit of a in the middle. It's not too complicated, but because it's one, a knit fabric, so that's difficult for new beginners, and two, it's got those pleats in a knit fabric, so that can be more difficult for some people. So if you're not as confident, then go more on the edges of just a more stable cotton jersey and avoid something like a rayon jersey. But a rayon could be very nice because it will have a really nice drape to it for this pattern. So the next pattern is 6790. So this one is a top, as you can see here. So it's got gathering around the front and a high neckline. Looks like there's two kinds of necklines. One's got a bit of a tie, or similar to a pussy bow, actually really is a pussy bow blouse kind of top. So it's also got the sleeves that are a little bit puffy, so they're not quite slender, they've got a bit of puff to it, which is very popular right now. It's not super puffy, but it is just a little bit, maybe a little bit less than this, but the same sort of vibe as this actually that I'm wearing. So this one, I probably wouldn't say good for a beginner, because what fabrics they're suggesting is crepe, georgette, satin, crepe de change, charlotte, so like very thin, very slippery fabrics. Personally myself, I'm not amazing at working with those fabrics, but I do think that if you've been sewing for quite a few years, if you want to push yourself to try fabrics that you haven't worked with before, this looks like a great option to try. The next one is 6792. So this is quite an interesting pattern actually. So it's got a bottom placket down the middle, and then it's got side seams, almost like princess seams. Yeah, in the technical sketch it looks like they're princess seams, but they don't seem to sit quite there. They're just more to create more room around the edges. The back also has a yoke, and there seems to be a lot of room there. So you've got the one option with the sleeves and then without the sleeves. It's quite interesting. It's actually a bit unique. If you really want something, this would be great for the summer. Something that's very airy and loose and fun. So the next pattern I have here is 6793. So this one is a coat. So that's interesting. If you look closely, looking back at the technical sketch, so it's got yoke lines, it's got a button placket, I guess you could call that. It's got a few seam lines down the middle, so it's more of a fitted design rather than a loose design. Comes in 2 lengths, and it has the options for a sash belt. So this one comes from the sizes 8 to 24, and the fabric recommendations are wool blends, tweed, gabardine, faux leather, faux suede. You know, leather jackets are quite trending quite currently actually. You could use this pattern to make a leather jacket. It's not really the traditional biker leather jacket that's trending right now. It seems to be more, actually quite similar to this, more of a fitted, structured, more coat style of leather jacket, even the longer version. Alternatively, if you're not game to go full faux leather, do a full leather look. This would be really interesting and really bright colours even. Perhaps if you're just wanting to make a regular coat, there's so many different wools and wool blends on our website. We will have some below. But for this one, you're going to need something structured, you're going to need something heavy, and depends how warm you want it to be as well. I like that the buttons are kind of asymmetrical, they're tied on the side. And it also even has pockets. Pockets are always very important. This one also comes from the 8 to the 24. I probably wouldn't put coats in the category of beginner friendly, more of an intermediate style, especially because this has more of a button. It's got buttons, it's got different yoke lines, it's got different seams. It's coats can be very involved makes. So the next one is 6795. So this one is more of a, they've styled it as a workwear kind of collection. So you get a few different patterns in this one, and it comes from the sizes 6 to 24. This is great because you get the skirt, you get a dress, you get a top, you get pants, you get a jacket. You're all set for work. So if you need to dress up, or if you need to dress a particular way at work, this could do your whole outfit. I quite like the dress with the flounce or flute at the bottom. You could, that actual style of dress seems to be becoming a bit popular now actually. Wearing under cute little tops and frills and whatnot. The top as well, you don't have to, like if you got this, you could use this not just for workwear, you could use it for anything. So the next pattern is 6796, and this is another great one where you get multiple patterns in one. So it's got a more casual jacket, and then you've got a dress, a top, a skirt, and pants. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns in one. Again, you could use this for a work attire if you'd like. They've done it very simple, they've done it very casual. The pants are a bit wider leg than the previous one, and the top and dress is quite loose fitted as well, not as tight fitted, but you could always make it a tighter fit if you liked. What I liked about this one is I thought that if you see there on the shoulder, it's got the buttons and then another connecting piece for the shoulder line, you could change the colors. You could have one color here and another color there. I think that would be interesting. Skirt, it looks pretty simple. It's a skirt that can be very hackable, very transferable, very useful. Again, this one comes from the sizes 6 to 24. So the next one is 6, 7, 9, 8. And this is a bit of a different one. It is a skirt. It's a bit longer, a bit of a longer skirt, more of a full maxi skirt. It does have a bit of variations in the hem. One is a bit of an asymmetrical wrap across type hem, and then the other one is just straight across. Does appear to be a tie up. This would be quite beginner friendly, I would say. Definitely if I was looking to make something simple but satisfying, I would choose something like this. And I think this is the sort of thing where you really want to make the fabric show. So use something with a bigger print, or if you do want to use a solid color, but this is a great opportunity. For instance, like you can see behind here, my skirt is quite simple patterned, quite simple silhouette, but because this fabric's so bold and so, it's kind of a little bit on the bigger scale side, that's why I think I liked it to use that fabric in something more simple. So it's an opportunity to show if you've got a fabric on in your eye or in your mind. Yeah, so like I said, I just think it would be great in a bold sort of print or a larger scale print pattern, which we have plenty of. So the next one is 6799. So it comes from the size 6 to all the way up to 22. So what they're suggesting is georgette, crepe back satin. But for me, I would probably say you could use any variation of a lightweight silk or very lightweight cottons, just as long as it has a good degree of drape, but not something too stiff. If you wanted a bit of a different look, you could use something like a linen, which could be quite interesting. It would be great for summer, but so it's a lightweight linen, I mean not a heavyweight linen. Personally, I love this. I love bias cut skirts or skirts of that nature in that silhouette. So the next one is 6800 and it appears to be jeans. So obviously for the pattern recommendations for fabric, they're saying denim, obviously. Looks like they've got a good few variations on the pants. So they've got A, B, C, D, and E. So that's a lot. Looks like the variations depend on how tight fitted. Do you want a tapered in leg? Do you want more of a straight leg? Do you want more of a higher rise? Also more of a wide leg? Yeah, some of them more closer to a skinnier jean and others are just more of a straight leg. I think jeans is one of those things that we're all a bit, how do I say, we're always a bit nervous about. At least I know many sewers are. Before they're like, oh no, I can't do that, I couldn't make that, no. But trust me, you can. Just try it out. It is a bit more of an involved make, so I wouldn't suggest it to a beginner, but if you've sewn for a little while and you haven't made jeans before, this is a great opportunity to try it out. They've obviously all used the blacks and the blues and the regular denims, but here at Minerva we've got a really great wide range of different colours. And if you're like me and you've always wanted to make pink jeans but you just never got around to it, here's the sign. So the next one is 6801. So this is a top. This would be great for an office or just something when you know when people tell you, oh, dress up but don't dress up, like it's casual formal sort of. This is sort of the top that I have in mind. You can make it in a nice lovely fabric. You can do that, make it in a really neutral colour for work, or you could make it in a bright fun colour for an event. So it's got a few variations, A, B and C. So there's no sleeve option. There is a little bit of a longer sleeve option, a mid-length sleeve option, and then also even a puffer sleeve option. So one of the options has, I believe that's called pin tucking at the front. That can be a bit fiddly, so I would probably say this is more on the, I wouldn't call this a beginner pattern. They do say easy, but I think it also depends what fabric you use. Like I said, 2 of the versions have the pin tucking at the front, and then the other 2 versions have a yoke line with a gathering at the shoulder. That would probably be easier than the pin tucking. Pin tucking can be a bit fiddly. So the next one is 6802. So this one is another one of those multi-patterns, so you're getting a great deal. It comes from size 6 all the way to 22. So this one has got a fair few items in here. So A, B, C, D, E. So you've got pants, which it just looks like a very simple straight leg. Just looks slightly tapered down. Then you've got it looks like a very fitted dress because it's got the panel lines at the front and then the seam lines at the edges of the neckline. Then you've got a little bit of a sort of coat, or not coat, but overlay. You could even use that for a beach cover up depending on the fabric that you use it for. So the next one is 6803. So we threw this in here. Obviously you've got to have a wedding dress. So it comes from sizes 6 to 22. So it has a few variations here. So you've got the top half and then you've got the bottom half. So there's skirts that are straight and have a back train, and then there's another one that is more of a princess flowy out. So that's a bit more of a, so it depends. Do you like fitted straight or do you like flared? As for the tops, or the top half of the dress, it's got, looks similar like a corset type dress. One is without any sleeves, the other one that they've got here is nothing there, so it's strapless, but the other one has straps, and then the next one along has more of a little longer bit of a strap. I think that's actually quite interesting. I like how they've done the bodice, the corset type bodice, but then they've got like a sheer sleeve on the side. If you're looking to get married anytime soon, we've got you covered. If you'd like your arms covered more and you feel more comfortable that way, this has got a lot of options. I think this is a great base for if you really want to make your own wedding dress, but you're not the most amazing pattern maker. This you could definitely hack into a lot of different things, because you've got a straight skirt and you've got a wide skirt, you got the bodice, you got the sleeves. I also think that little sweetheart neckline is really cute. Sort of, you know, like a little love heart rather than a straight line. So that's all the new patterns we have to show you. I hope you like some. They'll all be linked or all be tagged below. Comment if you have any great ideas for any of these patterns. I know I do. We'd love to hear about it. So thank you for watching and see you next time.